Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Salman Abdullah, and I'm 23, and this is my life before Islam. I came from a household where it was love, but it was something missing. The police are gonna come and kick in your door and, take you to jail for a whole bunch of years. And, I'm hanging around people that wanna go shoot at people and prove themselves to other people. They're influencing me to get in trouble with the smoking and the drinking and all these different things that are not beneficial to man. In that place, when you're living like that, you don't really have any guidance. It's really nothing there to tell you you're doing wrong. It brought me back. It gave me a sense of understanding on how man should live his life, how he's supposed to worship this one God, and him living by the principles. My grandmother passed away, and I didn't really understand it, but I think Islam kind of opened my heart up a little bit more to it, to truly understand it.
Life does not shape everyone the same way. For some, it begins with stability, love, and guidance. For others, it begins with absence, hardship, and questions that weigh heavily on the heart. Behind every person is a struggle unseen, a silence carried through childhood, a search for meaning in the noise of the world. But even in the darkest moments, there are signs. Doors that open when we least expect them. A path revealed when we thought we were lost. This is the story of Salman, a journey through hardship, searching for truth and finding Islam. A mother holds a place unlike any other. She is often the first voice we hear, the first hand that comforts, the first love we know. Her presence shapes the heart, and her absence leaves a silence that lingers. Family is built on these bonds, the ones who are there in our most fragile years, guiding, protecting, nurturing. When those bonds are broken, the wound can last a lifetime. Yet with understanding comes healing. To forgive, even when love felt distant, is itself an act of strength, a reminder that every family carries both hardship and mercy within its story.
When I was younger, I always had my dad into my life. My grandma was always there for me. I didn't really have my mother in my life growing up, but she had some situations that she was dealing with, and I understand it. And to this day, I still love my mother. I came from a household where it was love, but it was something missing. And I didn't know quite what that was yet. It was something that was, I didn't really understand it. But I think Islam kind of opened my heart up a little bit more to it, to truly understand it.
There are homes filled with love, where kindness and care are present in every corner. But even in such places, the heart can whisper of something more. A silence that lingers beneath the surface. A space that no embrace, no laughter can truly fill. It is a search that many do not recognize, yet it stirs quietly within the soul. A longing for something beyond this world. And when the light of truth enters, that hidden longing is revealed. The heart begins to see with clarity what it had been missing all along.
So as I was growing up, my father was always there for me. I would say he did the best that he could do for me. But it was always something in my life that I saw that was missing. I always looked out and I seen these Muslims, but I didn't know who they were. It was always strange to me. As I'm growing up, I see there's a lot of violence. I see there's a lot of betrayal amongst the people. And I was like, this can't be how I want to live my life. But I didn't really have any direction. I didn't really have anyone to guide me and show me the way. So, I always was a religious person. Before, I was a Christian. So that's all I knew. My grandma used to take me to church. I used to sing in the choir, certain things. I always came to church, but I always felt like it was something missing that I didn't know what it was. I was always confused to think about the concept that God can be like man and God can die. So it really didn't make sense to me. I always came to church. I used to sing in the choir because I always had a nice voice. So people used to love that, but I knew that it was something missing in my life that I had to figure out because it was an emptiness inside of me. I didn't really have that yaqeen. Islam, it means certainty. So it didn't really stick to me. As later years I go on, I started realizing that I'm in a life that I shouldn't be in with me wanting to hang out with my friends and them wanting to get into things that we're not supposed to get into. I'm always the person that's saying, let's stay out of trouble, but they're influencing me to get in trouble with the smoking and the drinking and all these different things that are not beneficial to man. In that place, when you're living like that, you don't really have any guidance. It's really nothing there to tell you you're doing wrong because you look at it as a way as the bad is the good and the good is the bad. So you're confused if you don't have that structure. I would say that Islam, it brought me back. It gave me a sense of understanding on how man should live his life, how he's supposed to worship this one God, and him living by the principles of worshiping this God and what pleases him and fighting against his desires.
The environment we grow in has a power of its own. It can shape our choices, our habits, even our dreams. For many, the pull of friends and surroundings leads into a world of distraction, where danger is disguised as excitement and emptiness is masked by noise. Yet even in that life, the heart whispers for more. A quiet ache, a desire for something greater, a sense that what surrounds you is not enough, that life was meant for more than this.
When I was younger, I used to hang out with my friends and they used to think it was fun because we didn't really have anything to do. They used to think that it was fun to go slide on people and shoot at people and stuff like that. I was always in a place where it was frightening to me to be in a situation like that. You having to keep looking out your window to see if someone wants to come retaliate and bother you when you're sleeping. You look at it, when you're living a life so fast like that, you look at it as in a way that the bad is the good because so many people are indulging in it and the good is the bad. Your mind is playing tricks on you and you're confused. You don't know which way to go. It's a path that you can go. You can either go the right way or you can go the wrong way. But when you're in the middle, it's easy to shift right and left. It was always an emptiness inside of my heart that I didn't really understand, but I didn't really have the understanding. So I didn't understand that it was bad for me. There wasn't a lot of opportunities. I'm talking drugs. Everyone back home, a lot of people back home, this is the only way that they know to make income is by selling drugs. And that's a very, very risky and a dangerous way to live your life because you don't really know if the police are gonna come and kick in your door and, take you to jail for a whole bunch of years. And, I'm hanging around people that wanna go shoot at people and prove themselves to other people. But it's not the way that you wanna live your life. Not at all. It's not the way that you wanna live your life. The area that I live in, that I used to live in, when you're successful, the shipyard is the most successful place that you're going to. There's not a lot of opportunities. So I always thought that it was more to life. But when you're in a place like that, it's like you're in a prison. You don't have anyone to teach you. You don't have anyone to guide you on what you're supposed to do. So it's easy for you to fluctuate and go back and forth into avenues that you think that are good for you, but you don't know what's best because we're living our life the way that we want to live our life. One thing I think that I also mentioned is that my grandmother passed away, and
The loss of a grandmother is unlike any other. She is often the heart of the home, the one who holds the family together with quiet strength and endless care. When she is gone, the weight of that absence can bring even the strongest man to tears. Her presence is more than memory. It is stability, love, and guidance. And when it vanishes, the world feels unsteady.
certain people in my life that I hear dearly. One of them, I would say, my grandmother. She was always there for me. And when she passed away, it was very detrimental to me. It hurt me a lot. And I had an uncle that was there for me. Even though there were not a lot of opportunities, me growing up, he would come get me on the weekends and he would get me to do little things. Even if it's cleaning up when he's doing a construction job or something like that, he would have me there for him. It was always people that were there to support you, but they also knew that in the environment that we lived in, there were not a lot of avenues to go into. I always wanted more for myself, but I didn't know which direction to go. My father was always there for me. As you're looking around, you're seeing other people going through this. You feel as though you're stuck.
There are moments when life feels like a circle that never ends, a cycle of hardship where every path leads back to the same struggle. You search for a way out, but the streets, the people, even the air around you seem to pull you back in. It is in those moments you feel lost, as if every direction leads nowhere and hope itself is slipping away.
I always had a friend, he said that he was Muslim, and I was curious about what Islam was. I was still in the streets. I was still smoking every day. I was still drinking, partying with my friends because I thought it was fun. And they're indulging in things that I'm indulging in. So I don't really have the clear picture on understanding what Tawheed is, what the oneness of God, how to worship him the correct way. When I was younger, I thought I was worshiping him the correct way. But what made me interested in Islam, it was a rapper. His name was, you may know them, his name was Kevin Gates. And I used to like his music because when I was younger, I used to be very infatuated with the lyricist. And he always spoke a message of you trying to break free of what type of prison that you're in. And it really compared to the lifestyle that I was living. As I grew up, I noticed that there were changes in him. I looked at him as a role model, and he said that he was Muslim. Like I said, I had a friend that was Muslim, but he was indulging in the same things that we were indulging in. I always wanted to be Muslim, but I didn't know what Islam was. There was not a lot of support after my grandmother. She got sick, and I live with my dad, but when you come from a household like that, it's hard for them to support you when they're struggling themselves. So I always looked at it in a way that I needed to excel. I needed to do better in my life. I didn't know too much about moving anywhere else. It was kind of frightening to me.
There's a comfort in staying close to family and friends, in the neighborhoods and places you've always known. They feel safe, familiar, like home. But sometimes that very comfort can hold you in place. True growth often asks us to leave what is familiar behind, to face fear, uncertainty, and the unknown, because only then do we find what we were meant for.
I moved to Northern Virginia. I went to go live with my uncle because I thought that it was a better opportunity for me. He wanted me to go to the Marines, but it didn't work for me. Around that time, there was a rapper that I was listening to. I was really deep into his music. I may have mentioned his name earlier, but he was talking about Islam. And I wanted to be Muslim, but I didn't really know what Islam was. So one day I was going out looking for a job. I'm going to about 13, 14 different places applying here, left and right. So something tells me when I pass the masjid, it tells me to slam on my brakes. So I slam on my brakes so hard, and this, subhanAllah, I walk right into the masjid. I don't know where I am when I walk into the masjid. I have my shoes on. The brother say, take your shoes off. I don't understand that this is a sacred, clean place. So I come inside. I notice that they're very welcoming. They ask me, am I hungry? Do I need anything? I've never experienced this type of hospitality. I see that they're warm and welcoming. Like, they don't have a problem with me being there. Never been in this environment before. They seem like very calm, collective people. So I go into the masjid. They say, brother, come talk to us. They say, are you interested in Islam? I say, yes, but I'm actually coming here for a job. They say, okay, it may be another way that we can help you. Maybe you can volunteer around the masjid and stuff like that, and we can help you as much as we can. I didn't really have any other opportunity. So I went there and I started learning with these brothers. All started making sense to me. They all worship this one God. In Islam, we all know each other to be brothers in faith. And it was something that I had noticed. There were different brothers. There were African brothers. There were Pakistani brothers, Afghan brothers, brothers from Turkey, all over the world. And I noticed that it was very diverse. I have never experienced this before. After embracing Islam, I started seeing that there were different avenues, and everybody isn't closed-minded. There are people that are willing to support you and help you to achieve your dreams. It could be something small, something very, very small, and they say, brother, do you need help with this? I said, brother, I'm fine. But I started seeing that they're so giving, because when I accepted Islam, it was a very rocky turning point in my life. I started seeing that old friends are drifting away from me. By myself. No one calls me, no one checks up on me, because I'm not indulging in those things that they want to indulge in anymore. With these brothers, I started seeing that they're very respectful. They're very caring. They're really giving. Brother, do you need this? Do you need that? It warmed my heart to a certain degree with knowing that someone actually cares about me. Even though I never met these brothers a day in my life, but it's like as though we're real brothers. And that's something that Islam does to you. It gives you that love, that peace. So it's easy for you to welcome others in. Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was a very charismatic individual, and he always had this quote that says, "You should want for your brother what you want for yourself," and that's very true, very true. Because if you care about somebody in your best interest to please this person, you should have mercy upon them, so the one in the heavens may have mercy upon you. So, as I mentioned earlier, I used to go to church. I saw that the environment was not the same. There's not a strong community. Okay, you come to church and then you leave church after. You don't speak to these people until a whole week. With Islamic brotherhood, it's different because you see these brothers every single day. And you're coming, you're all praying, you're all fasting, you're all fellowshipping and eating together. It's a strong bond that you're building with people that you don't know like that. But the more you speak to them, the more you connect with them, the love comes into your heart. And it's a different type of love that you can't get from anywhere else. I started noticing that when you do for others, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you. And you, and the easy thing about Islam, the simplest thing that you can do, you could get rewarded so much for it. You giving someone one date, helping them cross the street or something like that. It makes you feel good inside to do for others and take care of people. Prior to Islam, I had a dark heart. I wasn't very as charismatic. I used to get mad at people and fight people. Like, I wanted to fight people for fun because I didn't have anything else to do. I started noticing that you don't have to fight every battle by yourself. And you don't have to fight every battle to prove yourself. Some advice that I would give you is don't go with the crowd. Stick to yourself. Because as I was growing up, I start to see that I'm thinking that these things are fun, that my friends are indulging in. They go party, they want to club, they want to sleep with women and stuff like that. And it's nothing that actually makes you feel content and happy because you're constantly chasing this enjoyment until you get tired, until you get to the point where you're in a dark corner sometimes and you're just thinking to yourself, is this just life? And I thought about it. This can't just be life. It has to be something out here greater, and it has to be something out here that brings you peace and joy.
There is more to life than nights that blur together, more than smoke in the air, music that drowns out thought, and pleasures that fade as quickly as they come. The search for meaning cannot be silenced by noise or numbed by indulgence. True peace is not found in the temporary. It comes when the heart submits to something greater than itself, when life becomes more than chasing a feeling, and faith becomes the anchor that steadies the soul.
I would say Islam changed my life. It gave me that structure, that certainty, because I was never more serious about anything when I took my Shahada in my life. Learning about Islam, knowing that this is something that's strange to me. I started to see, after I embraced Islam, it gave me a meaning to life. In the future, I want to be better. I want to be better for myself. I want to be better for my family. And I know that in the future, inshallah ta'ala, bi'idhnillah, I will have children. And one day I want to teach my children so they can be beneficial and they can be good people in society and make other people happy and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants them to worship Him. Well, my message of hope is that You can't achieve anything without God. I start to see that the Muslims are very devoted people. They pray 5 times a day. They fear God to the best of their ability because we know that this life is temporary and we won't live forever. God says, worship me until the reality comes to you. The reality meaning death, knowing that man has to be created to worship his Lord and come back to his Lord at the end of the day. So I will encourage everyone to seek knowledge and just at least open a Quran because Islam will really do something different for your life. It will help you. It will give you the understanding that you're not in this life alone because you have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to be prosperous. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to be strong. I encourage everyone to at least do research about Islam because Islam is a beautiful religion. Simple message: there's only one God worthy of worship, and worship be for no other than that one God. Never associate any statues, any living beings, any false deities. There's nothing more beautiful than you getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you putting on a nice white robe or a towel, clean, coming to God and saying, oh Allah, make me better, give me power, make me stronger, give me the ability to obtain any substance that you may provide for me. It means a lot to me to say that I'm Muslim, knowing that everything that I do, I'm going to be rewarded for it. Because on the day of judgment, when God calls me back and he says, oh, my servant, I've put you into this life. What did you bring back to me? I would like to live my life to know that I may have been beneficial to someone. I live my life not selfishly, not in a way that I was always thinking about myself. And it could be something as small as you giving someone something to eat because you know that if you have mercy upon the people, the one in the heavens may have mercy upon you. The message on Islam is simple. Worship be for the God of Abraham, and that no God has the right to be worshiped but that God. And we believe as Muslims that there were prophets that went throughout all mankind to give the message that no God has the right to be worshiped but that one God. And at the end of the day, you're going to return to that God and you're going to be questioned about what you did. I would say that Islam gave me peace and harmony. Islam gives me that serenity that you get from nowhere else. You can take a deep breath, and when you breathe out, you feel as though a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. We go to prayer, we bow our heads. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes the sins off our backs and he puts them on the ground and they go away. Islam gave me what I was looking for. Islam gave me that structure. It took me out of a dark place and it brought me into the light to the point where I see. And sometimes I may open the Quran and it may be a certain verse that is comparing to the lifestyle that I'm living, and God just gives you an answer to your question. There is beauty in Islam. I encourage others to also seek benefit. When you know Islam, what other way is it but Islam? You pray 5 times a day. You ask God to make you stronger. You ask him to make you better. You ask him to give you the confidence to be able to achieve anything that you want to achieve. You don't just sit on your back all the time and be like, God, oh God, help me with this. He shows you what you're supposed to do. so you can be better. I would encourage anyone that is in a tough place in their life to just sit back and contemplate that you don't have to be in this alone. I know a lot of people may say that they're fine. A lot of people may say that they can't figure it out by themselves, but you can't figure anything out by yourself. Without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I would say that I am nothing. I'm nothing without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am only his servant. I know that as long as my connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is good and Allah knows that I have my intention to please him, I'll be fine, inshallah ta'ala. Islam is going to help you. Like it helped me. In the beginning, I didn't know too much about Islam. There are a lot of things that I know that I'm not the only one that may be struggling with it. And I always think about it. It could always be worse because we're humans and we may fall into mistakes every now and then. You should always look in. It's though as though okay, imagine a rope. Imagine a rope where you're pulling onto the rope, and every time you pull onto the rope, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is on the other side saying, "Come back to me, my servant. Come back to me, my servant." It doesn't matter how many times you may have sinned, you may have wronged yourself, you may have transgressed against yourself. Anytime you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala something, as long as you have that sincerity in your heart, He will forgive you and He will have mercy upon you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with those who are patient. And know that when you're hurting, God is only testing you. You know that He sees you struggle every single day. Know that there's no love greater than the love of God. For the servant that is patient with his Lord, and he constantly asks God to purify his heart, to make him stronger, so that he may fight his desires. God will test you with fear. Sometimes He may test you with hunger. Sometimes He may test you with loss of wealth. But it's only temporary. And I would encourage anyone to accept Islam and seek knowledge to at least understand Islam for yourself. Hopefully, inshallah ta'ala, bi'idhnillah, this short conversation that we've had is beneficial. And I hope that you find that peace and that tranquility that I have found in Islam in your heart. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive our shortcomings. May He have mercy upon us on the day where there is no shade. May He give us shade under His throne. May He give us the ability to enter the gardens of paradise without any trial or test. May He keep us steadfast. I'm not going to say may He keep us steadfast. May He give us the ability to become steadfast, so He may be pleased with us.
Time slips through our hands like water. Each day draws us closer to our end. And in that race against time, true success is not in wealth, status, or fleeting pleasures, but in faith, in righteous deeds, and in patience. Hardship and ease are two sides of the same test. The pain you feel is not without purpose, and the trials you face are not without reward. Those who remain steadfast, who hold to the truth, who persevere when the world weighs heavy on their shoulders. They are the ones who find peace, for He has promised, and His promise is true. Indeed, with hardship comes ease.
I hope that this talk is beneficial to you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Path of Noor production.